There's no secret, mac and cheese is loved by everybody, but when it comes to Black households, mac and cheese takes a whole new meaning. We are serious about mac and cheese, and it has to be at every single holiday celebration. So today, Kenneth and I are actually going to have a nice friendly competition where we are going to test each other's family mac and cheese recipes to see whose recipe is superior. You ready?
Let's do this here.
All right. Don't mess up my makeup. All right.
So now it's time for me to school Meiko on how to make this New Orleans mac and cheese. This is exactly how my mom and them made it. My grandmother used to make it and taught my mama, then my mama taught me. And after I got out of culinary art school, I got passed the torch. So Meiko, let me show you how it's done. Now that we have our boiling pot of water, let's take that lid off of there.
Okay.
Now let's add some salt. And we want our water to taste like the sea. So don't be doing too cute little pinches. Go ahead on and put some salt in that water. Once it comes back up to a boil, it's time to add our noodles.
And I noticed that you're using spaghetti noodles. Now, I ain't never seen that before.
That's right, respect my culture. We use spaghetti in New Orleans. I don't know why, that's just how I was taught. That's how my mom and them did it, so that's how we do it.
Traditionally in Black households, we don't play with the noodles. It's like you keep it real strong with the elbow. You might do small elbow, you might do large elbow.
Right.
I ain't never seen this, so this is very unique.
We want them nice long strands of noodles, okay? Cook this for 6 minutes, and then after that we're gonna drain it, but we're gonna keep moving after this point.
Sounds good.
We need to make a roux, and that's because of the French influence to Louisiana, especially to New Orleans. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to cut your skillet on to a medium high. You want to add your butter. Melt that down. We're going to make this roux, which is going to be equal parts of fat and flour. With this cheese sauce, you want to use butter so that rich velvetiness comes through. Not using oil like you would with a gumbo so we can get that real deep fry of flour.
So you mean to tell me in your household, your family was making a French bechamel sauce? Is that what you're telling me?
That is not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is, after I got out of culinary art school, this is what I started doing.
Okay.
Okay, now that our butter is melted, now we're gonna add our flour and just go ahead on and stir that on up. That roux looks perfect. Now, let's get ready to add our spices and herbs. So we're gonna add some salt, we're gonna add some black pepper, we're gonna add some garlic powder, and we're gonna add a little bit of that yang, that cayenne that is. I love to add the spices to my roux so it can toast all of those spices and then wake up all of the flavor. Once you make this, you're literally gonna get kissed with a little heat of love.
I literally smell it just really went up my nostril right now.
That's what you want. That means you're doing it right. Now, let's add our half and half. And we're gonna add it in thirds. And the reason we add it in thirds is because we wanna make sure that we cook out all that flour. Don't nobody want no mac and cheese that tastes like flour. That just ain't it, baby. That just ain't it. You're gonna kind of whisk this for about 1 minute to 30 seconds, just depending on how high you got your fire. Once you see where it's thickening up, this is your sign that you should start adding your next bit of half and half.
What I do see is a lot of seasoning floating around in this sauce, which is promising to me because that means there's gonna be a ton of flavor.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we ain't lacking on no flavor out here, baby. You know what I mean? We may be doing things a little bit unconventional, but flavor is definitely the mother of this sauce. Stir in your cream too.
Okay. So you have half and half and heavy cream. Why are we adding both of those?
Well, I like to use half and half instead of whole milk because it's half milk, half cream, so it gives it more flavor. And then you gotta add the cream just for that extra richness. As you're waiting for your liquid to come up to a boil, you wanna make sure that you whisk it, stir it occasionally, just to make sure that the flour doesn't begin to burn as it sticks to the bottom of the skillet. Now that we have our liquid boiling, it's time to add our cheese. You can have all the fun you want with adding whatever cheese, whatever ratio you want. But for this one, we're gonna do 3 cheeses. Go ahead on and add some cheddar, some sharp cheddar.
Whisk.
Okay, now add some pepper jack. You just grab all of the pepper jack.
There's some
and add a little bit of the mozzarella. And whisk that on up and cut it off. That's it. That is your cheese sauce.
Okay.
Let's bring this dish together.
I'm ready.
So our spaghetti is finished cooking, so we're gonna go ahead on and add that to our casserole dish. So now pour your cheese sauce over it.
Okay.
And get it all in there. We want that thing swimming.
How'd I do?
You did great.
That was pretty good to me.
You look good.
All right.
Now that you got your cheese sauce, go ahead on and stir it so that all the noodles feel the love. Because you don't want no dry noodles in there. And this is the point where you just, trying to even it out, see how good it looks.
It's nice and saucy up in here.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Make sure it's nice and even.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of flatten it out like that.
We have our bowl of cheeses.
Yes, these are the remaining cheeses, right?
Instead of doing it individually, I like to keep them in one bowl and mix them up.
Okay.
Go ahead and give it a little toss there.
Okay. One big happy
One
united
big happy cheesy family. So go ahead on and make it rain. There you go. No cheese left behind. Now it's completely up to you how much cheese you add to it, how much you don't. We already got a beautiful cheese sauce, but it's mac and cheese, so it gotta be cheesy.
Here we go. How's it look?
It looks fantastic.
All right, Kenneth, that was easy to make. Now it's time for you to make my mac and cheese. So we are about to prepare my mama's deep dish mac and cheese. Now let me tell you something. This is the dish that my mom is assigned at every cookout. She is the official preparer of mac and cheese because of this recipe.
That's big.
I already had you prepare my elbow noodles, okay? Because mac and cheese requires elbow noodles, so those are already cooked up and they've already been drained. What I need you to do now is add some butter. This is going to coat all of the noodles so that they don't stick together. Now we are going to make what is the comparison of your cheese sauce. It's not a bechamel. My mama didn't have time to make a bechamel. She was the mother of 4 girls. She needs to move quickly. So we are going to make a sauce that's a little bit different, starting with some sour cream. That's going to give a nice tart flavor, but add some creaminess to the mac and cheese. And now we're going to add some cottage cheese. In my opinion, this is the only place where I use cottage cheese. Let's move on to our shredded cheeses. So I want you to add some sharp cheddar cheese, add some smoked Gouda.
Some good stuff right there.
It is some good stuff. That's actually a new addition. My mom just recently fell in love with that, so that's a new addition to her recipe, okay? Pepper jack, grab a little bit of that. Add some fresh mozzarella. Now I'm gonna have you add the canned cheese sauce. That's gonna add an extra level of creaminess to the mac and cheese. Add some evaporated milk. For me, that's a lot better than using traditional milk or half and half because it has less water in it, so it's gonna help that melting of the shredded cheese. Okay, and now it's time to add our seasoning. So we're gonna go with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and cayenne pepper. So mix that all really well. Make sure it's fully incorporated. You want to make sure that all those flavors are blended before we add it back to our elbow noodles.
And this definitely looks night and day compared to my cheese sauce.
My mom doesn't even know what a bechamel is, for heaven's sake. So she only used what she had around, what was in her pantry, what was in her fridge. These are everyday ingredients to achieve a creamy sauce, and it works. I love it.
Yeah, that whole cottage cheese thing is a whole different game changer.
It adds texture. It's a texture component. It looks pretty good, and that's it. That's all it takes to make this cheese sauce. It's super simple. Now's the time we start adding our cheese sauce to our pasta.
I need to taste it just to see what we're working with.
All right.
That's unique.
That's unique? Tell me more.
Because it got the tanginess from the sour cream and cottage cheese, but then you get all the nice spices behind it. So that's why it's unique.
Come through, mama. All right, now that you've tasted it, let's go ahead and add that sauce to our pasta and stir it very generously, making sure that it's all incorporated. You want to make sure that all the noodles are coated. Everything has a little bit of sauce on it. Nothing should be bare. No noodle left undone. Our next step is to add some eggs. So I want you to whisk up this egg and add that to the pot. And this is a really good time to add your egg because at this point, your macaroni's been cooling a little bit. You've added your sauce, which has cooled it down. You don't want that macaroni to be hot when you add your egg or else it'll start to cook the egg and that would be all bad. So yeah, that looks really great. Look how creamy that looks. We haven't even baked it yet, right? It looks creamy, right?
Yep.
Yes, it does. It looks amazing. He's so shady. Okay, that looks incredible. It's time to move on to our next step. Add this mac and cheese into a pre-greased casserole dish. A large elbow macaroni is the type of macaroni that will allow the cheese to go inside the noodle, okay? So you're not just getting cheese on top or surrounding the noodle, it's actually in the middle of the noodle, so cheesiness is everywhere. That is super important. I want you to take all the cheese, mix it up all together, get it all incorporated. Go ahead and add that on top. Be generous, yes, all over it.
Oh, but that's what you feel when
That's how I feel when I see cheese. I don't know, I can't help it. The last step, I want you to cover it with some aluminum foil. Since we didn't make a bechamel, what this is going to do is help keep the heat within the pan, insulate, and help melt down those cheeses.
Everything looks great. You can truly see the difference in the mac and cheese family. Yours got that traditional creamy brown bits. Mine has that all over golden brown crusty edges for everybody's delight.
I love how I can see the spices like all throughout, so you know it's gonna be packed with flavor. And the creaminess is just like oozing out. Like if you just press it and see the creaminess like oozing out.
You really caught that good New Orleans vibe. Cause see, ours is more about sauciness than cheesiness.
Thank you so much. And I'm actually really impressed by what you've done. You actually got the creaminess that I was looking for, and you got those bubbly brown bits that I love on the top of my mac and cheese. So good job so far.
Let me take a little bite first. The thing that's really interesting about this is how creamy it is, but how little of Gouda you use and how dominant of a flavor that Gouda is to this whole dish. Pretty damn good mac and cheese.
That means a lot to me. Thank you, Chef. I really am not mad at this spaghetti noodle. It's actually quite delicious, particularly because you can get cheese sauce like all around the entire noodle. That's exactly why I use the big elbow macaroni noodle, so the cheese sauce fully covers everything. My favorite part, the crusty cheese stuff.
It goes well with it.
It's delicious.
Now let's test each other's to see if we lying to each other or not.
I know I did you right. Let's see if you did me right. So good.
You did a real good job. This here just reminds me of home so much, and now all I need is just something to wash this down with.
Now that we've done the taste test, we have to decide which one is the best. I am very curious, did you change your mind, Kenneth? Which mac and cheese reigns supreme?
I would have to say that I have not changed my mind. I'm gonna keep it New Orleans 110%.
Oh, nobody could ever top my mama's mac and cheese, okay? Not my mama's mac and cheese. This is my go-to. This feels like home. This is what I grew up on. I will always pick mama's mac and cheese. So I love your mac and cheese. It was delicious, but mama, yours reigns supreme. All right, guys, so I guess that means you guys are gonna have to decide which mac and cheese is the best. So go ahead, leave a comment down below, let us know, or tell us what makes your mac and cheese so special. So you can always find me, Meiko in the Dish, on Instagram,
And you can find me at KennethTemple_ on the ground.
Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Oh, yes.